Hello and welcome to Crafting a Memorable Staff Development Day. My name is Lindsay O'Neill. I am past president of Learning Roundtable as well as the chair of the Online Learning Committee. And I am thrilled to welcome you all. I'll be hosting this webinar today. First, a word about Learning Roundtable and what we do, and then I will introduce our fabulous presenters. Okay. So, Learning Roundtable is part of American Library Association. Our goal as a roundtable is to promote quality continuing education and staff development for all library personnel. We help our members network with other staff development and continuing education providers for the exchange of ideas, concerns, and solutions. We serve as your source for staff development for continuing education assistance, publications, materials, trainings, and activities. And we are your advocate for quality library staff development and continuing education at both the local and national levels. We can be joined for a mere $15 a year. We do lots of cool stuff. We would love to have you join us. So do consider. Meanwhile, I hope you enjoy today's webinar, which is right up Learning Roundtable's alley. We have Rita and Carol with us today. I will read you their biographies. Rita Baggio Christensen serves as Director of Organizational Learning at Salt Lake City Public Library, designs innovative employee development programs, and fosters inclusive learning cultures that advance equity. With 23 years in library services, she previously served on the ALA Caldecott Award Selection Committee and as Utah Library Association President. Rita holds an MLIS and is pursuing her Master of Public Administration, specializing in strategic leadership, equity initiatives, and culturally responsive staff development. Carol Ross serves as Employee Experience Manager at Salt Lake City Public Library, transforming workplace culture through innovative design and strategic leadership. With over 25 years in creative direction, she manages employee onboarding, internal events, and organizational communications. Previously, the library's creative director from 2019 to 2024, she led campaigns and Summer Reading Challenge branding. Her background includes art director at Salt Lake Community College, creating visual identity projects and award-winning publications. Carol's creative vision drives workplace innovation and employee engagement strategies. Today's webinar is being recorded and will be posted shortly after to Learning Roundtable's members only resources, and we will send out the recording and additional resources from the presenters to all of the registrants. Welcome. Thank you again to our presenters, and Rita and Carol, I will turn it over to you.
Well, hello, everyone. Carol and I are so excited to join you today. We're going to start with a story about chocolate that will change how you think about staff development. Researchers at Yale gave people identical pieces of chocolate. Half the participants ate alone. The other half ate at the exact same time as someone else. No talking, just shared timing. The people who ate chocolate simultaneously rated it as significantly more flavorful and enjoyable than those who ate the same chocolate alone. The finding from the research reveals something very powerful. Shared experiences literally amplify our perception and memory.
This connects to research that should give every staff development day. Adult learning research shows people learn best when content connects to their daily work, the foundation of effective professional development. Social learning theory demonstrates we learn through observation and interaction with colleagues, not just from instructors. And employee engagement research shows that recognition systems and shared positive experiences are crucial for motivation and building stronger workplace relationships.
We'll apply these research findings using MBOK, the event management body of knowledge, which provides a framework professional event planners use to create experiences that consistently deliver results. Because your staff development day deserves the same evidence-based approach as major conferences, We'll translate the research into practical action by focusing on three key areas.
First, essential planning frameworks that help you create systematic professional approaches. Second, strategies for managing multiple learning tracks so everyone gets relevant, engaging content. And third, methods for integrating recognition moments that enhance rather than interrupt the learning flow.
Think back to a recent staff development day or training you've attended. In the chat, drop one word that describes either what made it amazing or what made it not so great. Be honest, whether it's inspiring, boring, interactive, or pointless. Go ahead and drop your one word into the chat. Oh,
Disorganized, engaging, inspiring, fun, pizza. Food, interact, giraffes. It's interesting. Helpful, interactive, refreshing, uncomfortable, trivia, so, engaging, pointless, professionally, but enjoyable socially. Felt taken care of, collaborative, fun speaker, hard to plan. Okay.
your reflections show us what works and what maybe we want to avoid or even transform. I just saw rigid. That might be something you want to transform. Our presentation is a brief introduction to a staff development day toolkit, a master planning checklist, and other materials that will help you plan and implement engaging professional development experiences that your staff will actually remember and use. Those chocolate moments that make learning stick. Now, let's build the strategic foundation that ensures your staff development day actually happens and achieves its goals. These aren't the exciting parts of planning, but they're really what separate successful events from disasters.
So, what is Staff Development Day? Honestly, it's our chance to hit pause on the day to day and really focus on us. It's about professional growth, learning new things, and stretching ourselves. It's about team building, connecting with coworkers in a different way. It's a time to celebrate the wins we've had and to really highlight the good work that's happening. And more than that, it's about strengthening our culture and making sure what we're doing every day lines up with our bigger goals and values. What are the benefits of Staff Development Day? Well, first off, it's a great way to enhance our skills. We all walk away learning something new. It also builds team cohesion, helping us work better together. It gives a real boost to morale because it's energizing to step back and celebrate as a group. It helps with cultural reinforcement, making sure we're living out the values that matter to us. And finally, it sparks innovation, giving us fresh ideas and new ways of looking at things. Did you know our Staff Development Day at the City Library is 34 years old? That's pretty amazing. Over the years, it's really evolved from what used to be a more mandatory training day into what many of us now consider the most anticipated day of the year. That transformation didn't just happen by chance. It's the result of really intentional strategic planning using frameworks like MBOK to shape the experience. And now I'd love to share a quick quote from one of our staff surveys. It really captures what this day means to our organization. This was the best SDD yet. The thoughtful layout, branded swag, beautiful decor, session topics, organized schedule, slideshow, awards, the remembrance, fun games, moments for connecting, the food, all of it. Another quote says, Staff Development Day was a very inspiring day. I worked for two companies before, but I've never seen something this effective and professional and fun at the same time. I'm really happy to be part of this team. When it comes to Staff Development Day, it's not just about putting on a great event. It's about asking, how do we know it really made a difference? Did people learn new skills? Did it strengthen our teams? Did it move us closer to our goals? Measuring success is what helps us answer those questions. And that's where a framework like the logic model comes in.
Most events measure outputs, workshops completed, staff trained, hours delivered. These are your proof of participation. But logic models help you design for outcomes, the actual changes in knowledge, behavior, and community impact that matter long term. The power of a logic model is that it helps you design activities that actually connect to outcomes, not just fill time. Here's the flow. Resources lead to activities, which create short-term confidence, then behavior change, then long-term impact. Here's a real example of impact. Last year, our finance director presented a session called Thriving with Personal Finance. Finance and people and culture then took that momentum directly to all library locations and departments with targeted presentations and resources on retirement savings. Within 2 months, a follow-up study revealed 30% increase in 401k savings. That's exactly the kind of long-term outcome we're after, measuring actual behavior change, not just satisfaction scores. Your toolkit includes a logic model template to walk you through this process and ensure every session connects to strategic goals. Now let's talk about timing. The timeline you see here is our 12-month approach, which we recommend for first-time planners or large libraries organizing system-wide events. This gives you plenty of buffer time to work through challenges and build excitement. The master planning checklist includes 3 different timeline approaches based on your experience and situation. There is a 12-month timeline, again, for first-time planners or for large complex events. There's a 6-month streamlined approach for those with some experience and a 3-month timeline for seasoned planners doing familiar formats. The key milestones remain the same. It's really about how much lead time you need for each phase. The final month is always about finalizing logistics, regardless of which timeline you choose. Choose the timeline that matches your comfort level and complexity of your event. It's better to start early and finish strong than scramble at the end. Now let's talk about money. This breakdown shows typical budget percentages across different library sizes. Notice how the priorities shift based on your resources and scale. Small libraries often spend more on food and materials because that's where you get the biggest impact with limited funds. Large libraries invest more heavily in venue and speakers because they have the audience size to justify those bigger expenses. And food consistently remains a major budget item across all library sizes. Your toolkit materials include an interactive HTML budget worksheet that you can open in any browser. And I'm going to do a demo for you. Okay, so here is the budget worksheet that I created. When you get the file, what you do is you just click the HTML file and it's going to open up in any browser. So there's some budget tips in the yellow bar. In this blue bar, you can add in your total available budget. So let's say you have $15,000. You would type that in, and let's say you expect 100 attendees. Now, it indicates here that you have $150 per person. And when you look at the table here, you will see that this worksheet automatically, oh, let's see. Yeah, that's right. it automatically indicated what your budget would be per category in the budget column. All right. Now it will change depending on the size of your library. So I have it set at medium library. If we change it to small library, look at the budget column. It changes. And we'll do change it to the large library, it changes again. Okay, so I'm going to set it at a medium library. And let's say you're a medium library. This says that your budget for your venue, based on these percentages in the medium library category, would be about $1,800. So let's say you were going to rent some tables and tablecloths, and that came to 1,500. You would type that in, and it shows you you've got a surplus of 375. Of course, that comes out in your total here. Your speakers, let's say you spent 4,000, you're still going to have some extra. Your food and snacks, let's say you went over a little bit. So that's at 5,000 and it shows you went over by 875. Materials and supplies, let's say it was 2,000 and your prizes, you were under a little bit. We'll put in 1,500 and your contingency, we will say your contingency fund, you actually want 1,300. And this is showing when over 300, you could say, okay, we'll just keep that at 1,000 and then you're zeroed out there. And that just helps you get an idea of how your budget might work per category. You've got some cost saving strategies right here. And then I created a detailed line items to just so that you could think about what you might spend on these different categories. And this isn't interactive, and I didn't think about that until yesterday. But what you could do is you could copy and paste this and put this into a document or print it out and just pencil in your line items. Okay, so I hope that's helpful to you. So the next thing you're going to want to think about is building your planning team. And honestly, one person cannot and should not plan a staff development day alone. Success comes from building the right team with clear roles and responsibilities. At the center, you need a staff development day chair. This is your project manager who keeps everyone on track and ensures regular communication between all team members. From there, you'll build out specialized coordinators based on your event size and complexity. Your logistics coordinator manages venue, setup, and day of coordination, and the session coordinator works with speakers and manages program flow. Don't underestimate the importance of your food and snacks coordinator. Remember, food is a major budget item and a key factor in participant satisfaction. The social activities coordinator keeps energy high with icebreakers and networking opportunities. And your recognition and awards coordinator ensures staff feel valued and celebrated. For smaller libraries, one person might wear multiple hats. For larger systems, you might need subcommittees under each coordinator. The key is clear communication through regular meetings, chat spaces, and email. It's the foundation of your team structure. Scale your team to match your event scope, but always start with these core functions covered. Before your team dives into planning, create a project charter. Your project charter should be created collectively by your planning team and based on consensus. When everyone contributes to defining the vision, outcomes, and objectives, you eliminate confusion and conflict later. Our charter includes key elements like participants, vision, measurable outcomes, and objectives with key results. We also include a flexibility matrix that clarifies what's negotiable and what's not within our scope, our schedule, and our resources. This prevents last minute scope creep that derails your timeline. Strategic alignment connects your staff development day to your library's broader goals. Consider embedding your logic model directly into your charter. It reinforces the connection between activities and outcomes. You can address risk management under constraints and interdependencies rather than creating a separate document. The charter becomes your North Star throughout planning.
As you're planning your staff development day, keep these essential risk management considerations in mind. This isn't about expecting disaster, it's about professional preparation that lets you stay calm and focused when small problems arise. Have a plan B just in case. Consider speaker cancellations, technology failures, weather or facility issues, low attendance, catering problems, or a committee member being sick or unable to attend. Now we move into the logistics and design phase. This is where your planning becomes reality and your vision becomes visible.
Your theme isn't just decoration. It's what ties everything together and creates coherence for your staff. Choose a theme that supports your strategic priorities. If you're focusing on community engagement or digital innovation, let your theme reflect those goals. Make sure it feels inclusive and relevant to all staff members. Everyone should see themselves in your theme. Your theme should also promote the organizational culture you want to build and offer creative possibilities for branding and activities. So let's put theme development into practice right now. Carol is sharing a Padlet link in the chat, or use the QR code. If the QR code doesn't open up in your browser, you can grab the link in the chat. And when you get there, you'll see 3 columns. So I'll wait for a couple minutes for you to open up the Padlet. So let's say your theme will focus around growth, all right? And you're exploring how you want that theme to play out in your staff development day. Now I'm going to go to the Padlet. So your mission right now is to add words in each column that represent growth to you. You can share images too, share whatever comes to mind. Just click the plus buttons to add words. You can add comments or you can add images. So don't overthink it. Just type in the first word that comes to mind. If you click the image icon, we can see your vision and you'll see everyone's ideas appearing. Okay, so I got you started. We've got trees, roots of knowledge, clouds, a group of ideas. We've got emerge as a growth word, a color word, someone put in green. So let's see your ideas. Um, Click those plus buttons and let's see them come through. It looks like Carol has it there. Oh, you don't see it on the screen? Lindsay shared possibly a better link. Oh, refresh. Okay. Oh, there we go. Thank you, someone, for that tip. Okay. We've got trees, clouds, a group of ideas. That's really cool. Roots, flowers, evolution, moss, water, blossom or blossoms, trees again, ocean, blooming. Roots is coming up. I'm gonna heart roots. We've got blossom. We can heart the ones we like. Grass, rain, gardening, sunflowers, reaching higher goals. That's cool. And streams. Okay, I'm going to go to the growth words. We've got emerge, transform, active, bloom again, flowers blooming, empower, learning, spreading leaves, thriving, learn, transform, expanding, evolve, learn, hatching, social networking, expansion, strength, planting, growing up, persevere. Ooh, look at that. There we go, growing. That's cool. Healthy, rain, sunsetting, adaption. That's nice too. Shedding what is needed, mindful. Color words green. We've got rainbow. Oh, that's a neat idea. Teal, yellow, yellow, green, yellow, rainbow again. I love that. Shades, tints, a mix, cobalt blue, vibrant, orange, spectrum, bright. Look at that green. Vivid, periwinkle. There's rainbow again. Rays of sunshine, blue sunrise. Holographic, rosy. How do you say that, Carol? You're the graphic designer.
I see cerulean.
Cerulean?
Cerulean.
Cerulean and brighter. These are nice. Well, this is an amazing collection. Did you notice how seeing other people's words sparked new ideas for you? That's the power of collaborative theme development. When your planning committee does this exercise, these words become the foundation for everything. Your session titles, your decorations, your recognition categories, even your room setup. This Padlet becomes your creative toolkit for building a cohesive, memorable experience around this theme. And you can do this activity on paper as well. We did this activity last year with Carol, and here is our 2024 themed slogan, logo and colors. Isn't it gorgeous? It created momentum that made all other planning decisions feel effortless and aligned. A themed planning worksheet is included in your toolkit materials.
When we think about Staff Development Day, we want the entire experience to feel intentional and connected. That's where branding comes in. Branding isn't just about a logo or a color palette. It's about creating a cohesive look and feel that reinforces the theme all day long. Think of it as weaving a thread through every part of the event so it feels polished, professional, and memorable. Some of the most essential brand touchpoints are actually the things staff interact with the most. It starts before the day even begins with your pre-event communications. The way you announce the event, the graphics you use, even the tone of your messaging all set the stage. Then there's your signage and materials on the day of. Programs, slides, wayfinding signs, these reinforce the theme and help everything feel connected. And finally, recognition items, whether it's a giveaway, a keepsake, or an award. These little touches carry your branding forward and leave staff with something tangible to remember the day by. When all these elements work together, staff don't just attend an event, they experience it. When we talk about branding, it really comes down to a few key building blocks: a logo, a color palette, and typography. And when you put those into templates for slides, signage, or handouts, you get a consistent look that ties everything together and makes the day feel cohesive. The great thing is, you don't need to be or hire a professional graphic designer to make that happen. With Canva, anyone can easily create everything you need for Staff Development Day, from presentations to posters. It's user-friendly, and using your brand elements within Canva ensures your materials all look polished and unified. Here are some examples from our 2024 Staff Development Day. You can see how the branding came through in all the details. Our banners, signage, and decor all carried the same color palette and design style. Notice how consistent it feels, whether it's a welcome sign, a breakout room banner, or table decor, everything ties back to the theme. That consistency is what creates a really polished and memorable experience for staff. It's those little details, matching colors, logos, and typography, that make the day feel intentional and cohesive instead of just a collection of activities. Another big part of creating a successful staff development day is how you use your venue. Space planning really sets the tone. You want to think about flow, how people move through the space, where they'll gather, and how easy it is to get from one session to the next. When you're hosting Staff Development Day on site, there are a few key things to keep in mind. You'll want to think about space requirements. Do you have enough room for general sessions, breakouts, meals, and activities? Next, the technical setup. Things like Wi-Fi capacity, AV equipment, and plenty of outlets. Accessibility is also huge, making sure everyone has physical access, comfortable seating, and even quiet spaces if needed. Then there are environmental factors like lighting, temperature, and acoustics, which really affect how comfortable people feel. And finally, don't forget about after hours access, permissions, and security if your event runs late or requires extra time. When you're planning staff development day off-site, there are a few extra things to think about. Location is key. How close is it to the library? Transportation options and parking. Cost is another factor. Rental fees, required vendors, and any hidden costs can add up. You also want to look at amenities, things like built-in AV, a catering kitchen, or breakout spaces. Don't forget insurance requirements since many venues need extra coverage. And finally, consider setup flexibility. How much time you'll actually have to prepare and break down the event. When planning your event space, it's important to start with the essentials: areas for general sessions, breakout rooms, dining, activities, and even quiet zones. Here, you'll see some of the maps we created for our staff development day. Each one served a specific purpose. Some focused on workshop layouts, flow, and logistics, while others were designed for attendee materials, showing parking, session locations, and restrooms. I highly recommend creating a master map you can use to visualize how your event will function. You'll also want a polished version to include in attendee materials like booklets or handouts. Having both makes planning easier and helps participants navigate the day smoothly. And remember, the setup style also shapes the experience. Whether you choose theater, classroom, rounds, U-shape, or an open layout, each arrangement creates a different kind of energy and interaction. This is the map we included in the schedule booklet to help attendees easily navigate the venue, the main library downtown. The map highlights key locations such as general sessions, breakout rooms, workshops, restrooms, parking, and other event spaces. It also played a crucial role in planning the event flow, determining seating areas and coordinating signage and wayfinding throughout the building. This slide shows photos of how our space planning played out in real life. You can see general session areas, breakout rooms, and quiet zones, all serving different needs. We also plan for dining spaces, activities, and even tours. Here's a glimpse at some of the mock-ups I developed during the planning phase, shown alongside a photo from the event itself. I even used a map to thoughtfully plan the seating layout for the dining areas. Every detail from the Kelly Green staff tables to the Hunter Green food tables, and even the table toppers and floral accents were chosen intentionally to reflect our event theme, rooted in our growth. When planning creatively, it's all about layering thoughtful visual elements. The goal is to make sure every detail, the layout, the colors, and the materials works together to tell the same story. Whether it's the table linens, the signage, or the decor, each piece reinforces the theme and contributes to a cohesive, intentional experience for attendees. The takeaway: these visual choices matter. They help anchor the event in its purpose and make it feel polished, meaningful, and memorable.
Accessibility creates an environment where every staff member can fully participate and contribute. This means thinking beyond physical accommodations to include cognitive, sensory, and social accessibility. Start with the basics: wheelchair accessible venues, clear sight lines, and hearing loop systems or interpreters if needed. But also consider cognitive load. Provide agendas in advance, offer quiet spaces for breaks, and design sessions that accommodate different learning styles. Communication accessibility is equally equally important. Use clear fonts on slides, provide materials in multiple formats, and consider offering session recordings for those who process information better when they can review it later. The goal is removing barriers so that professional development truly serves your entire team. When you plan with accessibility in mind from the beginning, you often create solutions that benefit everyone, like clear signage that helps newcomers navigate, or quiet reflection time that helps introverts process new information. This emphasizes that accessibility planning enhances the experience for everyone, not just those with specific needs. Food isn't just fuel, it's a program enhancement tool when done strategically. Start with budget alignment. Consider cost per person relative to your overall investment. Don't let catering eat up your entire budget, but don't go so cheap that it becomes a distraction. Plan your service timing to minimize program disruption. Schedule meals during natural breaks. Build in buffer time for transition, and consider the energy impact when planning post-meal sessions. Have a clear process for identifying and addressing dietary needs. Having gluten-free, dairy-free, and other options ensures everyone can participate fully in meal portions of your day. Check your caterer's track record with similar events and ensure their presentation quality aligns with your event's professionalism. Finally, consider sustainability practices and waste reduction. It reflects your organization's values. Notice the variety that accommodates different dietary needs, the professional presentation that enhances rather than detracts from your program, and the setup that encourages networking and conversation. The key is choosing options that energize rather than drain your participants. Fresh fruits, manageable portions, and foods that won't create a mess or distractions during sessions.
Now we move into content design and programming. This is where your staff development day transforms from logistics into learning experience. This is about creating the educational content and participant experience that delivers real results.
This word cloud represents the reality of staff development planning. You'll have dozens of ideas, competing priorities, and endless topics that all feel essential. The challenge isn't coming up with content ideas. The challenge is organizing them into something coherent and balanced that actually serves your staff's needs. So here's where to start. Categorize your ideas into broader themes. You'll notice on the left side of this slide, we've identified 7 major categories. These become your organizing framework. As you brainstorm group-related topics together, feedback and communication might live under soft skills. Technology and procedural training might fall under technical skills. And this grouping helps you see patterns to avoid redundancy. You can't solve every organizational challenge in one day. Your job is to choose the most impactful topics, ones that align with your strategic priorities, address staff identified needs, and create momentum for ongoing development throughout the year. Once you've categorized your ideas, you need to balance your content across the day. This table shows you one approach to structuring that balance for both full day and half day events. Notice the highlighted cells. That's showing you what we prioritized in 2024. We dedicated 38% of our full day program to soft skills and organizational content. This reflected a strategic choice. We identified that interpersonal dynamics and understanding our organizational culture were critical needs that don't get enough attention in day-to-day operations. For full day events, you do have more flexibility. The example shows 35% as technical and procedural content, the skills and processes staff need to do their jobs, but balance does matter. So there's 25% of content in soft skills, 15% in external perspectives to broaden thinking, 15% in wellness and team building to energize and connect people, and 10% in equity and belonging to advance inclusion goals. These percentages are not rigid rules. They're just a starting point based on our experience. Adjust those percentages based on your organization's priorities. And if you're rolling out a new system, you can increase technical content, and if trust is low, you could lean into team building. If you're navigating change, possibly bring in external perspectives. The key is intentional balance. Once you have your content balanced, decide how to organize the learning paths for different staff groups. Role-based tracks work when job functions have distinct training needs. Experience level tracks recognize that new hires need different content than 20-year veterans. Topic level organization lets everyone choose their depth of engagement within broad themes like technology or customer experience. And here's where learning style becomes crucial. However you organize your tracks, build in a variety for how people learn. Not everyone learns best by sitting and listening to a presentation. Format variety is also crucial for maintaining engagement throughout your event. Traditional presentations work well for sharing new information or inspiring vision. Interactive workshops let participants practice new skills immediately. Panel discussions bring multiple perspectives together and work particularly well for complex topics where there isn't one right answer. Peer learning circles tap into your staff's existing expertise. Participants learn from each other's experience rather than from an outside expert. Lightning talks are generally 5-minute presentations that pack maximum information into minimum time. They're perfect for sharing quick wins, new tools, or inspiring ideas without overwhelming detail. Demonstration stations let people rotate through hands-on learning at their own pace. Problem-solving labs tackle real organizational challenges collaboratively. Teams work on actual issues and present solutions. And tours provide context and inspiration by showcasing your special collections or behind-the-scenes operations. Our most popular tour last year was What's Behind the Door, where staff get to go underneath the library and see facilities, maintenance systems, and all the infrastructure that keeps our library running. Your session speakers bring expertise, credibility, and energy that transforms learning experiences. Start with internal experts. They're cost effective, understand your organizational context, and build internal capacity. Consortium colleagues offer also some external perspectives while understanding library-specific challenges. Vendor representatives can provide valuable product training and industry insights. Community partners bring fresh perspectives and strengthen external relationships. Professional associations can offer access to recognized experts, cutting edge research, and also local perspectives. The past few years, the Utah Library Association has given presentations on the benefits of membership. When selecting any speaker, prioritize those that can engage diverse audiences and align with your event theme and objectives. Evaluation is a comprehensive feedback system that spans before, during, and after your staff development day. Start with session-specific feedback. This captures fresh impressions while content is still top of mind. Use simple rating scales plus open-ended questions about specific takeaways and applications. Your overall experience survey should measure satisfaction, perceived value, and alignment with your learning objectives. But don't just ask, did you like it? Ask, will you use what you learned? And how will this change your daily work? Facilitated reflection sessions during the day itself provide real-time course correction opportunities. Build and structure time for participants to process what they've learned and connect to their roles. Progress follow-up is challenging. This is an area that we want to improve after our November Staff Development Day. Check in 30, 60, and 90 days later to see what participants actually implemented. This is where you measure that real impact and not just initial reactions. Finally, conduct a planning committee debrief within 2 to 4 weeks while memories are fresh. What worked in your process? Where did communication break down? What would you do differently? What would you keep the same? This process evaluation is just as valuable as participant feedback. Remember to connect all evaluation back to your original charter objectives and the logic model. Are you achieving the outcomes you designed for? Use this data to inform next year's planning decisions.
Now let's talk about the activities that transform your staff from a group of individuals into a connected community, games and gathering. Remember our chocolate research. When people experience something simultaneously, it becomes more memorable and meaningful. These community building activities create that same amplified effect for your staff. Last year at Staff Development Day, we introduced something brand new, games. It was our first time trying them out as part of the day, and honestly, they were a huge hit. You can see here some of the different activities we had set up: beanbag toss, spin the wheel prizes, playful tabletop games, and even little grab and go toys. It created a light, fun energy throughout the day. The idea was simple. We wanted to give staff chances to laugh, connect, and recharge in between sessions. And the feedback we got showed us just how valuable that was. People loved it. In fact, these games were so well received that this year we actually have an entire subcommittee dedicated just to games. We're planning activities for the day of the event and really making sure fun is built right into the experience. Let's talk about team building that actually works. On the left, you'll see quick connection activities, great for 15 to 30 minutes between sessions. Library bingo, skill swap, value mapping. On the right are deeper engagement options, 30 to 60 minutes when you want bigger outcomes. Challenge cores, future visioning, collaborative creation. The formula is simple. Mix one or two quick connectors to warm people up, then add deeper session to translate energy into action. Keep everything inclusive and low barrier and tie each activity to the day's goals so the fun fuels real outcomes. One of the biggest goals of Staff Development Day is breaking down silos and helping staff connect across departments. The way we design the program can really encourage that. Simple things like mixed table seating make a big difference. When people sit with colleagues they don't usually work with, new conversations happen. We also built in structured networking opportunities like speed mentoring, interest groups, or problem solving pairs. At the same time, we leave room for more unstructured connections, comfortable seating, prompt cards, or shared activities at break stations. The mix of structure and flexibility helps staff meet new people, share ideas, and strengthen relationships across the organization.
Now we come to recognition and celebration. This is where staff development can soar or fall flat. The goal is meaningful recognition that feels authentic, and it celebrates the real work for that your staff does every single day. Meaningful recognition creates positive exchanges that build lasting commitment. Your awards and celebrations during Staff Development Day establish appreciation patterns that become part of your everyday workplace culture. Recognition is a powerful tool rooted in social exchange theory. The idea is that workplace relationships are built on reciprocal exchanges of value. When you recognize staff contributions, you're creative positive exchanges that strengthen organizational commitment. Value-based recognition connects achievements to your library's core principles. Impact recognition highlights how individual contributions make a real difference. Peer appreciation programs let staff recognize each other throughout the year, not just during formal reviews. Milestone celebrations acknowledge both length of service and significant achievements. Team success recognition emphasizes collaborative achievements. Anniversary awards are one of our biggest celebrations of the day, and for good reason. This is where we pause to honor the people who've dedicated years, sometimes decades, to our library mission. These milestones matter deeply. Whether someone is celebrating 5 years or 40, they represent commitment, expertise, and the living history of our organization. Our long tenured staff hold institutional memory. They remember why decisions were made, how we've overcome challenges, and how far we've come. We make this moment special. We acknowledge people by milestone year, share a tribute about their contributions, and present certificates and flowers. We applaud loudly and we hoot and holler. We show everyone in that room this is what we value, and the impact ripples outward. When newer staff see colleagues honored for 25 or 30 years of service, it sends a powerful message about the workplace we're building, one where people stay, grow, and build entire careers. The celebration honors our past while inspiring our future. When celebrating achievements, move beyond listing accomplishments. Tell the story of impact. Connect team wins to real outcomes. Get creative with your presentation approach. Let team members tell their own stories. You're not just celebrating what teams did, you're celebrating why it matters to the people you serve. As we wrap up our webinar, let's talk about how we end our day with a fun and exuberant raffle with really cool prizes. Raffle categories should reflect what matters most for staff development. Professional development prizes show you're invested in continued learning beyond the event day. Workplace items support daily effectiveness and comfort. Wellness prizes acknowledge that taking care of staff enables them to better serve our community. Local experiences connect staff to the community you serve together. Staff donations show that generosity and creativity within your own team. These personal contributions often become the most treasured prizes because they come from colleagues who understand what people value. The key is making your closing memorable and reinforcing the investment you're making in your staff's growth and well-being, and on a positive note that carries the energy of the day forward. Staff appreciation is the end of our special day, but it's the beginning of lasting change. Your next step is choosing one element from today's presentation to implement in your next staff development planning. Our presentation is a condensed version of the materials listed. Lindsay will send out the materials to today's attendees. The materials contain the Staff Development Day Toolkit, Staff Development Day Checklist, the theme worksheet, a session worksheet, and the interactive HTML budget worksheet I demoed. Use the resources with your team, and don't forget they're flexible and scalable based on your type and size of library. Your next staff development day is an opportunity to create that chocolate effect where shared learning becomes more flavorful, more memorable, and more impactful than anything experienced alone. Your toolkit gives you the framework to start planning, but you'll create the magic. Thank you. And there may have been questions in the chat, and I wasn't able to manage that. Um, so it's open for questions for 5 minutes. Lindsay, I don't know if you saw if there were any particular questions that stood out, or if we just want to take questions now.
I didn't see anything that was left hanging. If you did have a
Okay.
question that got missed. Please do repost that in the chat. And I do have a webinar evaluation link in the chat if you would please complete that as well.
How is our staff development day funded? That it's funded through our fiscal year planning. So I create a budget of what I need for each category in my budget. So it's a staff development day budget within my larger organizational learning budget. And that is sent to the executive team and is approved by our library board. Of course, that's funded through taxes. Our library system, we have 350 employees. And I just wrote this down. Um, I'm trying to remember our community is probably 2 to 300,000. I just wrote down the stats on our population. I can't remember what it is on the spot, but our staff, we have nine locations, 350 employees, and we only do it once a year. That is correct. But we do oftentimes implement different programs and kick them off on Staff Development Day, and we continue the programming throughout the year. Our Staff Development Day is mandatory. If there are some exceptions that people would like or some accessibility considerations, they go ahead and fill out a form through People and Culture, and we try to help folks to be able to experience Staff Development Day in whatever way that they can. Have you experienced providing Staff Development Day or events in a hybrid or a remote environment? I haven't done it at this system, but as the president of the Utah Library Association, I was the president of a conference that was coming out of COVID.
Mm.
Okay, so I was president-elect, and we did a conference completely hybrid. And the next year, we had to decide if we were going to go transition in person. And we did it in person. So I've done both. Like I said, not through this library system, but we did it for a conference. And I think both were successful. It just takes a lot of planning, and you need to prepare your attendees for how the process is going to work.
We had another, I think, a little bit buried from Maureen Perry. She asks, how did you get input on learner needs when planning?
We send out a survey. Uh, so our staff development day is November 3rd. We sent out a survey in March to ask what are the needs of the staff, and everybody can answer this, from custodial, maintenance, support services, reference, patron services, our directors of the library, as well as the executive team. And so we get all that feedback, and then we meet as a committee. Our committee we have 20 members, and we have subcommittees. And then that's when we go through all of the requests and make our decisions. Would you do hybrid every time if only 2 of 67 employees total are completely remote, rather than leave them out? Would I do hybrid every time if only 2 of 60 employees are completely remote? Oh, I see. Um, I think it can be an issue with capacity of your events, or the folks that would be like recording the events. So you have to look at the capacity that you have within your system to do hybrid. So that's going to be one of your questions, is do you have the budget and do you have the capacity to do it? And so I couldn't say whether I would or not. It's possible that if you had a manager who had an individual that needed that perhaps their team could, do a Google Meet or something like that for the sessions for that individual. I think there's a lot of creative ways that you could address that. Looks like we're out of time, Lindsay.
We are out of time. That was fabulous. Thank you so much, Rita and Carol. Thank you, Danielle, for getting this webinar set up. Thank you for learning Roundtable. This is super valuable. I will be sending out an email to all registrants that includes a toolkit and a link to the recording, and that will be tomorrow at the latest. Thank you, attendees. Thank you again, presenters. I hope you all have a fabulous rest of your day.